From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Steve Milton.
It's Tuesday, May 21st. This is Ticats Today, and I'm Steve Milton. After staying off the field on Victoria Day following Sunday night's black and gold game, the Ticats were right back to two-a-days today, and it was more than a trifle mild. How hot was it, you ask? Well, to quote an old joke from when I was in grade 3, the chickens were laying hard-boiled eggs. But despite the plentiful perspiration, the players had to play and columnists have to watch and report, and I'll be running down, as usual, a few things which I saw and which Scott Milanovich saw and still hopes to see. The head coach will give us his take on Bo Levi Mitchell, what the general philosophy will be towards Saturday afternoon's exhibition game against Ottawa at Tim Hortons Field, and we'll also catch up with Kiondré Smith, the third-year Canadian receiver who wants to play more special teams this year, especially on punt return. Right off the top, Bo Levi Mitchell. Always the story of the hour, of the day, and of the season, really. If you haven't seen or heard our Ticats Today podcast or haven't read our website report on Sunday's controlled scrimmage, first of all, why not? But second, and more importantly, know that there was a huge sigh of relief from everyone in the way the number one quarterback played, given some of the doubt that occurred after he spent rookie camp in a walking boot to help a swollen right leg. He completed 15 of his 20 passes and had only one missed throw. And Milanovich couldn't find any other faults even in the all-telling film room. The footwork on the three-step drop, which Milanovich had asked him to focus on, was very sound, except on one, maybe two throws, and both the quarterback and his coach were very satisfied. Now, part of Mitchell's trajectory into the season is determining how he recovered 36 hours later from throwing off the previously swollen right leg. That's his plant leg, and he passed that one today. He even ran for a 15-yard quarterback keeper, and you want to make sure I mentioned that one. Here's Milanovich's take on Mitchell's practice.
Yeah, he looks great today. I think the bigger challenge will be after an actual game when he's getting hit and getting bruised and people are landing on him. But so far, he looks no worse for the wear. Actually, he's looking better on a daily basis, in my opinion.
Mitchell wasn't the only one out there on the field they're practicing, although a few players weren't because of various small ailments. It is, after all, week 2. That includes running back James Butler, who tweaked a muscle but will return to the field in a couple of days. So Greg Bell, a hard-running rookie from San Diego State who spent some NFL time with Pittsburgh, continued his heavy workload. He got a lot of carries Sunday night and was the primary number one American running back again today. I also couldn't help but notice wide receiver Kalen Geiger, who got a lot of action Sunday and even more attention today. He's not tall, which in this group can be a disadvantage, but he's very fast. He was a high school track star in Texas and also spent a week on the active roster of the New Orleans Saints in 2022. He rotated into the A grouping today, as did sophomore Ticat Omar Bayless, whose touchdown reception in the black and gold game got the coach's attention. 6'6", TJ Vasher, who played with Geiger at Texas Tech, was at the top group at the black and gold game, but was with the number 2s today. But that might not mean anything other than he's got a lot of work to do on the finer details of becoming a full-time professional. But for all of those in the furious battle for very few available American receiver spots, every second of every drill counts. And Vasher had a pass hit his hands today that deflected to Lawrence Woods for an interception. Now, while we're on Woods, after Sunday night's black and gold game, Milanovich said that when Woods ran down the sidelines with one of his 2 strong punt returns, he felt that Woods seemed even faster than the coach remembered from last year. Now, we'll remind everyone that in high school, Woods was a Missouri state champion in relay, so he was already pretty fast. But Milanovich wasn't seeing things except a human bullet whizzing by. In between the 2 practices today, Woods confirmed that he is indeed faster and that one of his primary intentions in the offseason was to become quicker. He did a lot of one-legged work. That's hopping on the same leg for power and height, and something Tim White did a lot of for his Olympic caliber triple jump training. Strength and conditioning coach Marcellus Bowman sometimes institutes hopping exercises as part of the full team warm-up before practice, and Woods also did a lot of plyometrics. If you don't know what that is, and even if you do, I'm going to tell you. Plyometrics is also known as jump training, and it's designed to increase athletic power, which is a function of strength and speed. So if you're in the gym and you see someone doing those jumps up onto a box and then back down again, or over a bench and then back again, that's plyometrics. Woods feels like he has something to prove after BC signed him, then let him go right before camp opened. And so far, he's proving it. While the pass was deflected, his interception off Taylor Powell today came at the very apex of an extremely high vertical leap. Now, Wood's return from BC makes the competition for kick returners a lot more interesting. He's got the bona fides on that, having returned a kickoff to the house for the Cats in 2022 and running a punt back 88 yards, but tripping before he got to the end zone in the same season. Geiger is also in that mix, and so is wide receiver Chris Coleman, who signed here last September. Both of them, though, have to make the roster by also showing that they can really help in the receiving contingent. Another receiver has registered his name on the returners ballot, and that's Canadian Kiondré Smith, whom Milanovich moved from the farthest outside receiver to an inside position in the second half of last season. He was a two-time All-Canadian as a punt returner, too, and although he says he'll play any spot, anywhere, anytime, he'd like a chance at returns, particularly punt return. Here's Smith.
Punt return is probably my favorite form of return. I'd rather do that than kick return, but I'd like them both. I did it a lot in college. I was an All-Canadian returner, so I'd love the opportunity if it presents itself.
What do you like about it? And I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with punt returning, but I think you're in the mix.
Yeah, punt return's kind of like tag as a kid, right? You don't really you have a preferred direction, but you don't know how things are going to pan out. You don't know how close or far someone is going to be away from you, so it feels like a kid's game of tag at that point. So it's like backyard football. I like punt return.
And Smith again on why he likes to play inside.
You get a lot more room to work. You still get the waggle. I'm comfortable with the waggle. I've had the waggle since I've been playing. So I kind of am not more comfortable with it, but I'm more familiar with it than maybe most people are, being that they didn't grow up playing with the waggle. So it gives you more freedom, a lot more creativity with your routes.
Another Ticat who's had a good camp so far, including today, is three-time East All-Star Richard Leonard, who has played 4 different positions in the secondary in his 4 previous seasons in black and gold. Sunday night, his shutdown coverage at weak side halfback forced a hurried throw that his second-year teammate, Dexter Lawson Jr., easily read for a pick 6. And this morning, Leonard picked off Mitchell. Experience makes a difference, particularly in the early going. The Ticats have only 2 power practices remaining, tomorrow and the next day. Then they'll have the normal day before a game walkthrough on Friday before their preseason game Saturday afternoon at the Donut Box. There's another game the following Saturday against Toronto and Guelph, after which final cuts have to be made in preparation for the Friday, June 7th season opener in Calgary. That's not a lot of time from last preseason game to first regular season game, and while Milanovich, of course, isn't going to reveal too much about who will play which preseason games, the quick turnaround from camp to season opener could affect the roster, even for Saturday's game. That's this Saturday's game. Here's Milanovich one more time.
Injuries play so much of a factor in how we approach these games. I would like to play the starters a little bit more in this first game and a little less in the second game, but we're going to kind of have to see who's healthy and who's not and kind of evaluate it throughout the week.
I was going to ask a general theory question. That's what you want to use some of the. Is it because it's a home game, or is it because of the short rest between coming into the first game of the season?
Yeah, it's because the second preseason game is only 7 days away from the first regular season game, and we're on the road and a long trip to Calgary. So I would rather not play them as much in that second game.
We'll sign off from McMaster, and I'd like to thank all of you for watching, listening, and reading. Tune in tomorrow as we continue to be your eyes and your ears during the second week of training camp. This is Ticats Today, and I'm Steve Milton.
This has been Ticats Today with Steve Milton. Catch it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.